I didn't believe in haunted places. Not ghosts, not cursed objects, not any of that creepy internet stuff. But if you ever find an old camera in your apartment, don't press play. Because the last guy who lived here did. And after what I saw on those recordings, I'm pretty sure he never made it out. I moved into apartment 47 on a random Tuesday. It was one of those rushed decisions. Cheap rent, decent location, landlord who didn't ask too many questions. The kind of place you take when you don't really have time to think. The building itself? Old, like really old. The hallway lights flickered even during the day, and the carpet smelled like something had been rotting underneath it for years. But hey, I wasn't exactly in a position to be picky. The landlord, Mr. Keller, barely looked at me when he handed over the keys. 47, he muttered. Top floor, don't cause problems. That was it. No tour, no paperwork explanation, nothing. I should have taken that as a warning. The apartment itself was surprisingly clean. Too clean. Like, not someone just moved out clean. More like, someone erased every trace of ever living here clean. No scratches on the walls, no marks on the floor, not even dust on the shelves. It felt staged. Fake. I dropped my bag by the door and did a quick walkthrough. Bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, all normal. Quiet too, like really quiet. I couldn't even hear traffic from outside. That's when I noticed the closet. It was slightly open. I don't remember opening it. Inside, there was almost nothing. Just a single box sitting on the floor. Old, worn out, the kind of box that looks like it's been moved around too many times. I hesitated for a second. Then I opened it. Inside was a camera. Not a modern one. This was one of those older handheld camcorders. Scratched up, dusty, but still intact. There was also a charger neatly coiled next to it, like someone wanted to make sure it would still work. I remember thinking, weird thing to leave behind. But also, lucky. Free camera, right? I didn't touch it right away. I spent the next couple of hours unpacking, trying to make the place feel less empty. But the whole time, I couldn't shake this feeling. Like I wasn't alone. Not in a someone's in the room kind of way. More like something had just left. It was getting dark when I finally picked up the camera. The battery was dead, so I plugged it in. The little red light turned on instantly. Still working. That should have been my second warning. I don't know why I felt nervous. It was just a camera. Just some random thing left behind by the previous tenant. But as I sat there on the floor, holding it in my hands, I had this weird thought. What if they left it on purpose? After about 20 minutes, I turned it on. The screen flickered. Static. Then a menu. There were files on it. Dozens of them. All labeled by date. The most recent one? 3 weeks ago. I frowned. Guess the last guy forgot to clear it, I muttered to myself. I scrolled down. Every file was recorded inside this apartment. Same walls, same rooms, same angle. That's when I hit play. At first it looked normal. Just a guy sitting in the living room, mid-20s maybe, tired eyes, messy hair, talking directly to the camera like he was recording a vlog. I turned up the volume. Okay, day 12, he said. I don't know if anyone's ever gonna see this, but something's wrong with this place. I smirked a little. Yeah, okay, I whispered. Here we go. But then he leaned closer to the camera, and his voice dropped. I think it's watching me. I rolled my eyes. Until I noticed something behind him. Something small. Something moving. And the guy, he hadn't noticed it yet. I leaned closer to the screen. At first I thought it was just bad lighting. The camera quality wasn't great, and the room looked darker than it should have been. But then I saw it again. Behind him, near the hallway. A shadow. Not like a normal shadow. It wasn't connected to anything. It didn't match the angle of the light. And the worst part? It moved. Slow. Subtle, like it didn't want to be noticed. On the video, the guy kept talking, completely unaware. "I've been hearing stuff at night," he said. "Like footsteps, but not from upstairs, from inside." I felt a chill run down my spine. Because that was impossible. There was no upstairs. This was the top floor. The shadow behind him shifted again. Just a little. But this time, it got closer. I paused the video. My heart was beating way faster than it should have been. "Okay, nope," I muttered. "Probably just lighting, glitch, whatever." I glanced over my shoulder. The apartment was silent. Still. Empty. I hit play again. "Last night," the guy continued, "I locked my bedroom door. I know I locked it. But when I woke up, it was open." He laughed nervously. "That's not even the worst part." The shadow behind him stretched, like it was getting taller. "I checked the footage this morning," he said, pointing at the camera, "and I swear to God." He hesitated. His eyes flicked toward the hallway behind him. For a split second I thought, did he see it? I wasn't alone in here. Right as he said that, the shadow stopped moving. And then, it tilted. Not like a person. Not like anything human. More like something trying to figure out how to look human. My stomach dropped. Okay, that's enough," I whispered, reaching for the stop button. But I didn't press it. I couldn't. Because the guy on the screen slowly turned his head. Not toward the shadow. Toward the camera. Straight at me. "I know you're watching this," he said quietly. I froze. "What?" "That means it didn't get you yet," he continued. His voice sounded different now, lower, more serious. "If you found this camera, you're in the apartment." I felt my chest tighten. "No way," I whispered. He leaned closer. "Listen carefully. You need to leave. Tonight. Don't wait. Don't pack. Just go." A loud creak echoed from somewhere in my apartment. I snapped my head toward the hallway. Dark. Empty. When I looked back at the screen, the guy was gone. The camera was still recording. Same room. Same angle. But the chair he was sitting in? Empty. I stared at it. "Did he just cut the video?" I muttered. But the timer was still going. Then I saw it. Something moved in the hallway. The same shadow. But now, it wasn't just a shadow anymore. It had shape, height, form, and it was slowly stepping into the room. I felt my breath catch. No, 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 no. On the screen, the thing moved closer to the camera. Its body was wrong, too tall, too thin, like its limbs were stretched just a little too far. Its head twitched, like it was trying to focus. And then, it stopped, right in front of the camera. For a second, it didn't move at all, just stood there. Then it leaned down, slowly, unnaturally, until its face filled the entire screen. There were no eyes, just darkness. And then, it smiled. The video cut to black. I dropped the camera onto the floor. "Okay, yeah, I'm done," I said, standing up quickly. "I'm out. I'm leaving. Right now." That's when I heard it. A soft sound. From behind me. Something shifting. Inside the apartment. I turned around slowly. Heart pounding. Every instinct in my body screaming not to look. But I did. The hallway wasn't empty anymore. I don't know why I didn't run. Seriously, any normal person would have grabbed their stuff and bolted right out the door. But I just stood there, frozen, staring into the hallway. At first, I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. The light in the hallway was dim, flickering just enough to mess with your perception. Shadows stretched across the walls, shifting slightly every time the bulb buzzed. But this This wasn't just a shadow. There was something standing there. Tall. Too tall. Its head nearly brushed the ceiling. I blinked hard. "Nope," I whispered. "Nope, I'm not doing this." I turned away for a second, rubbing my eyes like that would somehow fix it. When I looked back, it was still there. Except now, it was closer. My heart skipped. I hadn't seen it move. Not even a little. "Okay," I said out loud, my voice shaky. This is just stress. Moving day, no sleep, creepy video, my brain's messing with me." Yeah. That sounded logical, right? The thing in the hallway twitched. Just once. A sharp, unnatural jerk of its head. My stomach dropped. "Nope," I said immediately. "No, I'm out." I grabbed my keys off the counter so fast they almost slipped out of my hand. Didn't even think about my bags, my clothes, anything. Didn't care. I just needed to leave. I backed toward the front door, keeping my eyes locked on the hallway. The thing didn't move again. It just stood there. Watching. At least I think it was watching. It didn't have a face. Not really. Just this smooth, dark surface where a face should have been. Like someone erased the details. I reached the door. My hand fumbled for the handle. "Easy," I muttered. "Just open the door. Walk out. Done." I turned the knob. It didn't move. I frowned. No, come on." I tried again. Locked. I don't remember locking it. A cold wave of panic hit me. I looked down. There was a deadbolt. One I definitely hadn't used. "Are you kidding me?" I whispered. Behind me. A soft sound. A step. I froze. Slowly. I turned my head. The hallway was empty. My breath caught. "What?" It was gone. I felt something shift in the air. Like the room itself had just exhaled. No, I said quickly, shaking my head. "Nope. I'm not playing this game." I turned back to the door, hands shaking now. I slid the deadbolt open. Or at least, I tried to. It didn't budge. It was like something on the other side was holding it in place. That's when I heard it again. Closer this time. Right behind me. A slow, dragging sound. Like something being pulled across the floor. I didn't want to turn around. Every part of me screamed not to. But I couldn't help it. I looked. It was standing in the living room now. Right where I had been sitting minutes ago. And this time, it was facing me. Up close, it was worse. So much worse. Its body looked wrong in every possible way. Its arms hung too long, almost reaching the floor. Its torso was unnaturally thin, like it hadn't eaten in years, or like it wasn't built to be human in the first place. And its head tilted slowly to the side, like it was studying me, trying to understand. I felt my throat tighten. "Stay back," I said, barely louder than a whisper. It took a step forward. I slammed my back against the door. No, stop. Another step. It moved differently now. Less jerky. More controlled. Like it was learning. "Don't come closer," I said, louder this time. It stopped. For a second, I thought, maybe it understood. Then its head snapped straight, and in a voice that sounded like broken static mixed with something human. It spoke. "Leave." My blood ran cold. That wasn't a threat. That was a warning. And it wasn't for me. Leave. That voice, it didn't sound like it came from the thing. It sounded like it came from everywhere. Like the walls were whispering. Like the floor, the ceiling. Everything around me had just spoken at once. I shook my head fast. No, "No, you don't get to do that," I said, forcing my voice to stay steady. "You don't get to talk. That's not how this works." Yeah, like there were rules. Like any of this made sense. The thing didn't move. It just stood there, watching me. Then, its head tilted again. Slower this time. More precise. And that's when I realized something. It wasn't confused anymore. It was focused. On me. "Leave," it repeated. But this time, it sounded different. Closer. More human. I swallowed hard. "You mean me?" I asked. Silence. Then, a faint sound behind me. A click. I froze. Slowly. Very slowly. I turned my head toward the door. The deadbolt slid open. By itself. My breath caught in my throat. No way. I hadn't touched it. The thing in the room didn't move. Didn't react. It just stood there. Watching. "Leave," it said again. And that's when it hit me. It wasn't trying to trap me. It was trying to get me out. "Okay," I whispered. "Okay, yeah, I'm going." I didn't wait. Didn't think. I yanked the door open and stepped out into the hallway. The moment I crossed the threshold, the air changed. It felt normal. The flickering lights, the stained carpet, the faint smell of something old and damp. All of it suddenly felt real again. I turned back toward the apartment. The thing was still inside, standing in the same spot. But now, it wasn't looking at me anymore. It was looking deeper into the apartment. Past me. Like something else had caught its attention. And then, the door slammed shut. Hard. I jumped back instinctively. "Okay, yeah. Nope, I'm done," I said, breathing fast. "I'm done." I turned and started walking down the hallway. Fast. Then, faster. I didn't even care that I left everything behind. Wallet, phone, clothes? Didn't matter. I just needed distance. But as I reached the stairwell, something made me stop. A thought. A really bad one. The camera. I left it inside. I clenched my jaw. "Forget it," I muttered. "Not worth it, not even close." But then, another thought. The videos. The guy. "If you found this camera, you're in the apartment." I exhaled sharply. "Yeah, and now I'm not. So that's it, right?" I got out. End of story. Except, what if that thing wasn't the one people should be afraid of? I turned slowly, looked back at apartment 47. The door was closed. Silent. Still. But something about it felt wrong. Like it wasn't empty. Like whatever that thing was watching was still in there, waiting. I stared at the door for a long second, then another. "1 minute," I whispered. I don't know why I said that. Maybe curiosity. Maybe stupidity. But before I could stop myself, I turned around, walked back, and grabbed the handle. "Just the camera," I said under my breath. "In and out." I opened the door, and the second I stepped back inside, I knew. Something had changed. The air felt heavier, thicker, and the apartment wasn't quiet anymore. I could hear something. Breathing. From the bedroom. The breathing wasn't loud. That's what made it worse. It was slow, heavy, like something trying to stay quiet but failing. I stood just inside the doorway, not even fully stepping in. "Okay, nope," I whispered immediately. "Bad idea, really bad idea." The door behind me creaked slightly, like it was about to close. I turned fast and grabbed it before it could move. No, no, you stay open, I said, forcing a nervous laugh. We're not doing that horror movie thing. The breathing continued. Steady, coming from the bedroom. I glanced toward the living room, the spot where that thing had been standing earlier. It was empty. But it didn't feel empty. It felt like something had moved. Or worse, like something had been replaced. Just grab the camera, I muttered. That's it. Don't think. Just do it. I stepped inside. Slow. Careful. Every step felt too loud, even though I was barely making a sound. The camera was still on the floor where I dropped it. Right in the middle of the living room. Good. Easy. In. Out. Done. I bent down quickly, grabbed it. The screen flickered. I froze. Please don't turn on, I whispered. It turned on. By itself. Static filled the screen for a split second. Then, the same guy appeared again. Same room, same angle. But something was different. He looked worse. Paler. Eyes sunken. Like he hadn't slept in days. Day 14, he said, his voice shaking. It's not just one of them. My grip tightened on the camera. What? There's something else here, he continued. Something it's trying to keep away from me. A chill ran down my spine. The breathing from the bedroom got louder. I slowly lifted my head, stared toward the hallway. It stands between me and the door, the guy said on the recording. At first, I thought it was the thing trapping me here. I swallowed hard. But now, he whispered, leaning closer to the camera, I think it's the only reason I'm still alive. My heart dropped. Behind me, the front door slammed shut. Hard. I spun around instantly. No, no. The handle didn't move. Locked again. Come on, come on. I yanked at it. Nothing. The breathing stopped. Dead silence. I froze. That was worse. So much worse. Because now, I didn't know where it was. It hides in the bedroom, the guy said on the camera, his voice barely a whisper now. It doesn't like the light. It doesn't like being seen. The lights in the apartment flickered. Once. Twice. Then, the hallway light went out. Darkness swallowed the space leading to the bedroom. I felt my chest tighten. No, no, no. And if it knows you're here, the guy continued. The camera glitched. For a split second, I saw something behind him. Not the tall thing. Something else. Lower. Crawling. Don't let it get close, he finished. The screen went black. I slowly lowered the camera. And that's when I heard it again. Right behind me. Not breathing. Crawling. A slow, wet sound against the floor. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Every instinct in my body screamed one thing. Don't look. But then, something cold brushed against my ankle. I snapped. I turned. And I saw it. Half hidden in the darkness. Too low to be human. Its body twisted. Limbs bent in ways they shouldn't. And its face was pressed against the floor, smiling up at me. I stumbled back so fast I nearly fell. Nope, nope, nope. My heel hit the wall, and I slammed into it hard, knocking the air out of my lungs. But I didn't take my eyes off it. I couldn't. The thing on the floor didn't rush me. Didn't jump. Didn't even blink. It just watched. Its face was still pressed flat against the ground, like it didn't need to lift its head to see me. That smile. It was too wide. Too still. Like it had been carved into its face instead of formed. Stay back, I said, my voice shaking. Don't come any closer. It didn't react. For a second, I thought, maybe it doesn't understand me. Maybe it can't hear me. Then, Its fingers twitched. Slowly, it began to move. Not walking, not crawling normally. It dragged itself forward, elbows bending the wrong way, legs pushing in short, jerky motions, like it had learned how to move by watching something human, but didn't quite get it right. My heart started pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. "Stop," I whispered. It didn't stop. It got closer. The sound it made, that wet, dragging scrape, it echoed across the floor, filling the apartment. "Stop," I shouted. It froze. Right there. A few feet away. Silence. For a split second, everything went still. Then, from behind it, a shadow stretched across the floor. Long. Tall. The other one. The tall thing. It was back, standing in the hallway behind the crawling thing. I couldn't see its face clearly from this angle, but I didn't need to. I felt it. It wasn't focused on me this time. It was focused on it. The thing on the floor twitched. Its smile faltered, just slightly. And then, it let out a sound, a low, broken hiss, like it was angry, like it didn't want to stop. The tall figure took a step forward. The air shifted instantly. Cold. Heavy. The crawling thing jerked back. Not much, but enough. "Stay," the tall one whispered. That same distorted voice. Static mixed with something human. The crawling thing didn't listen. It lunged forward. Fast. Way too fast. I barely had time to react. I kicked at it instinctively. My foot connected with something solid. But wrong. Too hard in some places. Too soft in others. It didn't even flinch. Its hand shot out and grabbed my ankle. Ice cold. I screamed, "Get off! Get off!" I kicked again. 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 Then, suddenly, it let go. I scrambled back, dragging myself away across the floor. The crawling thing recoiled violently, like something had yanked it. I looked up. The tall one was closer now, right behind it. Its arm, if you could even call it that, was stretched out unnaturally far, wrapped around the crawling thing's neck, holding it back. The two of them froze like that. Tension in the air so thick it felt like I couldn't breathe. Then, slowly, the tall one turned its head, toward me. "Go," it said. Not a warning this time. A command. I didn't argue. I didn't think. I ran. Straight for the door. My hands shook as I grabbed the handle. And this time, it opened. I didn't look back. Didn't stop. Didn't breathe. I just ran into the hallway and kept going. But right before the door slammed shut behind me, I heard something. Not the crawling thing. Not the tall one. Something else. A third sound. From deeper inside the apartment. Something. Laughing. I didn't stop running until I hit the stairwell. My lungs were burning. My legs felt like they were about to give out, but I didn't care. I just kept moving, down one flight, then another. Anything to get away from apartment 47. I finally stopped halfway between floors, grabbing the railing to steady myself. "Okay, okay," I gasped. "You're out. You're fine. You're—" A sound echoed from above. A door slamming shut. My heart dropped. Slowly, I looked up. The stairwell above me was empty. Dim. Silent. But the sound had come from the top floor. From apartment 47. Yeah, makes sense," I muttered nervously. "Stay up there. I'm good with that." I turned and started heading down again. Then I heard it. A soft, dragging sound. Above me. I froze. "No," I whispered immediately. "No, no, no, don't do this." The sound came again. Closer. Slow. Wet. My stomach twisted. "That's not possible," I said under my breath. "It can't leave." It didn't. It stayed in the apartment. Another sound. This time. A step. Not dragging. Walking. Something was coming down the stairs. I didn't wait. I ran. Down the stairs, skipping steps, almost slipping, grabbing the railing just to keep from falling. My heartbeat was deafening now. I burst through the stairwell door into the main lobby and stopped dead. The lobby was empty. Too empty. The front desk, abandoned. Lights flickering overhead. The main entrance door slightly open, letting in a faint glow from outside. Freedom. I exhaled sharply. Okay, that's it. Just walk out, don't look back. You're done." I started toward the exit. Step. 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 Something moved in the reflection of the glass door. I froze. Slowly, I looked up. Behind me, at the far end of the lobby, something stood in the hallway. Tall. Too tall. The same one. My breath caught. "You've got to be kidding me," I whispered. It wasn't supposed to leave. It stayed in the apartment. It protected me. It held that other thing back. So why? Why was it here? It didn't move. Just stood there. Watching. Then, it tilted its head. That same unnatural motion. "Stay," it whispered. My chest tightened. "No," I said immediately, shaking my head. "No, no, I'm not staying. I'm done. I'm leaving." I reached for the door. The second my hand touched the handle, the lights in the lobby went out. Everything dropped into darkness. I froze. "Great," I whispered. Then, a sound. Not behind me. Not in front of me. Right next to me. A soft. Wet. Breathing. My blood ran cold. Slowly. I turned my head. And there, in the reflection of the glass, something else was standing beside me. Low. Crawling. Smiling. I spun around. Nothing. The space next to me was empty. No, 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 no. The reflection, it was still there. Right beside me. Closer now. Its face almost pressed against mine. That same twisted smile. "Don't look at it," I whispered to myself. Don't. Too late. The reflection moved. And then, something cold touched my shoulder. Right in the real world. I screamed and shoved the door open, stumbling outside into the night air. I didn't stop. Didn't look back. Didn't care about anything except putting distance between me and that building. I ran across the street, nearly getting hit by a car, and collapsed onto the sidewalk on the other side. Breathing hard. Shaking. Alive. I looked up. The building stood there. Silent. Dark. The entrance door slowly creaked shut on its own. And right before it closed completely, I saw something inside. Two shapes. One tall. One low to the ground. And both of them were looking straight at me. I sat there on the sidewalk for a long time, just staring at the building. My hands were still shaking. My heart wouldn't slow down. Every time I blinked, I saw it again. The reflection, the smile, that thing right next to me. "Okay," I whispered to myself. "You're out. You made it out. That's what matters." A car passed by. Normal. Headlights, engine noise, people inside. Real life. I exhaled slowly. Yeah, I'm good, I'm fine. I reached into my pocket. Empty. My stomach dropped. No. My phone. My wallet. Everything. Still inside, apartment 47. I let out a shaky laugh. Of course it is. I looked back at the building. Dark windows. No movement. No signs of anything. It almost looked normal. Almost. I'm not going back, I said out loud. No chance. Not happening. Silence. Then, my phone buzzed. I froze. Slowly, I looked down. My phone was in my hand. I stared at it. What? I didn't remember picking it up. I didn't remember even having it when I ran out. My chest tightened. The screen lit up. Unknown number. A message. My fingers felt numb as I opened it. You left something. I swallowed hard. Nope, I whispered. No, we're not doing this. Another message came instantly. Come back. I shook my head, backing up slightly on the sidewalk. No, absolutely not. The typing bubble appeared, then stopped. Then, a new message. It's getting closer. My breath hitched. Not funny, I said, louder this time. Whoever's doing this, just stop. The screen flickered, and then a photo appeared. My stomach dropped. It was inside the apartment, the living room, same angle as the camera. But this time, I was in the frame, standing near the door, looking at my phone. Right now. My hands started shaking again. No, that's not. Another photo. Closer. I was still there. Same position. Same moment. But behind me, something was standing. Tall. Right over my shoulder. I turned around instantly. The street behind me was empty. Nothing. No one. I looked back at the phone. Another photo loaded. Even closer now. The tall figure was leaning down, right next to my head. Its face, almost touching mine. I couldn't breathe. Stop! I shouted, dropping the phone onto the ground. The screen cracked slightly, but it didn't turn off. Another message appeared. Don't turn around. My blood ran cold, because I already had. Slowly, very slowly, I lifted my head. Across the street, the building stood exactly where it had been. But something was different. The window of apartment 47 was lit, a faint, flickering glow. And inside, I saw movement. 2 shapes. No. 3. My heart stopped. No way. 1 tall, 1 crawling, and the third, standing in the middle of the room, looking out the window, at me. It looked exactly like me. I couldn't move. I couldn't even blink. The thing in the window, that thing, it was me. Same clothes, same face, same posture, standing in the exact spot where I had been earlier. No, I whispered, shaking my head slowly. No, that's not real. That's not. It moved. Just a little. Its head tilted. The same way the tall one did. My stomach dropped. Okay, I'm done, I muttered. I'm actually done this time. I don't care about anything in there. I don't care what it took. I'm leaving. I backed away from the building. 1 step. Then another. The thing in the window didn't stop watching me. Didn't blink. Didn't move. Just stood there. And then It raised its hand, slowly, and waved. A chill shot through my entire body. Nope. I turned around and walked away. Fast. Then faster. Then I started running. I didn't look back this time. Didn't check reflections. Didn't care what was behind me. I just ran. 3 blocks. 4. 5. I didn't stop until the building was completely out of sight. I finally slowed down, hands on my knees, gasping for air. Okay, I breathed. You're out. You're far away. It's over. A few people passed by. Normal. Talking, laughing, living their lives. No one was staring at me. No one looked scared. Everything felt normal again. Too normal. I straightened up slowly, pulled out my phone. Still cracked. Still on. No new messages. Good. I exhaled. See? You're fine. It was just... The screen flickered. My heart skipped. A new notification. Video file received. I froze. No. The file name. apt47_final.mp4. My hands started shaking again. I shouldn't open that, I whispered. But I already knew I would. I tapped it. The video started. Same camera angle. Same living room. Empty. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, the front door opened, and someone walked in. Me. I watched myself step into the apartment. Same moment. Same movements. Dropping the bag. Looking around. It was the first day. The beginning. This doesn't make sense, I whispered. On the video, me walked toward the closet. Opened it. Took out the box. The camera. I felt my chest tighten. Because I remembered that moment. But something was different. On the video, when I picked up the camera, I didn't look confused. I smiled. Slowly. Deliberately. Like I already knew it was there. My blood went ice cold. What the hell? The version of me on the screen looked straight into the camera, right at me, and said, "I've been waiting for you to watch this." I dropped the phone. No. N-O. The video kept playing. The version of me stood there, holding the camera. Then, its face twitched, just slightly, like it was struggling to stay normal. Then it whispered, "You left too early." My heart stopped. Left what? I choked out. The thing on the screen smiled wider. Too wide. Just like the crawling thing. "We're not done with you yet." The video cut to black. My phone buzzed again on the ground. I didn't want to look. I didn't. But I did. A new message. "Come back." Then another. "We need you inside." Then one more. "You belong to 47 now." I felt something behind me. Warm breath. Right against my ear. And a voice. My voice. Whispered, "You never really left." I froze. The air behind me was heavy, thick, wrong. Slowly, I turned. Nothing. I tried to convince myself it was just paranoia, that I was exhausted, that maybe I imagined the whisper. But my phone buzzed again. "We're waiting." I bolted. Down the street, across blocks. I didn't stop for lights. I didn't stop for cars. Nothing mattered except putting distance between me and that building. I finally ducked into a small 24-hour convenience store, panting. My heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. I looked around. People were inside. Normal people, buying coffee, snacks, chatting. Safe. I pulled out my phone. The screen lit up. No new messages. No video files. No alerts. I laughed shakily. Maybe it's over, I whispered. Then I noticed the reflection in the glass door. My own reflection. But my smile, it wasn't mine. It stretched too wide, too unnatural. And my eyes were darker, hollow. I stumbled back. And then I heard it again. That low, wet, dragging sound. Not behind me, not in the store. Inside my reflection. It twitched, slowly, mimicking me. And then it grinned. I screamed. I ran out into the street blindly. The building at apartment 47 was nowhere in sight. But deep down, I knew. I had never really left. I wasn't free. It had followed me, and it would never stop. I dropped to my knees, gasping. And then I whispered, barely audible, "Apartment 47 always wins." So if you ever stumble upon a strange camera in a rental apartment, don't touch it. Don't watch. And whatever you do, don't stay too long, because it's always waiting, and it remembers. Skull, if you liked this story and want more terrifying tales like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for weekly scares, and comment below what you would do if you found apartment 47, if you dare.